Hello and welcome to Canada Immigration Matters, the channel that brings you the latest insights and updates on Canadian immigration. In this video, Pius Aquiligo, a registered Canadian immigration consultant, will discuss why many immigrants are choosing to return to their home countries after moving to Canada. If you're new here, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you won't miss out on our informative content. Don't forget to like and share this video to help spread the word. We will be discussing Canada's citizenship conundrum, exploring why permanent residents aren't applying for Canadian citizenship, and why new immigrants are returning to their home country. Canada has been a magnet for immigrants for decades, but recently the number of permanent residents applying for citizenship has been dropping. Long touted as a nation that welcomes immigration and is ripe with opportunity, Canada may now have an issue retaining recent arrivals. More people are indeed leaving. In the first 6 months of last year, 42,000 people left Canada. For the full year of 2022 and 2021, the respective numbers were 93,818 and 85,927. Canada has an annual immigrant acceptance of roughly 500,000, but not all of them show up. More immigrants are moving away from Canada in recent years, and data from Statistics Canada shows that 15% of immigrants leave Canada within 20 years of arriving. A 2023 report from the Conference Board of Canada found that issues with housing and everyday affordability have led to an onward immigration rate more than 30% higher than historical averages. For prospective immigrants to Canada, I will be dissecting this topic for you so you can make an informed decision if you're considering moving to Canada. Why are permanent residents hesitating, and why are some of them returning to their home country? Canada has long been a beacon of hope for immigrants seeking a better life. However, a surprising trend has emerged. A noticeable drop in citizenship applications from those who've already achieved permanent resident status. Today, we're examining the factors contributing to this shift and what it means for the future of Canadian immigration. The first reason is high expectations. Many immigrants arrive in Canada with high expectations of instant success and prosperity. The dream often includes lucrative jobs, sending money home, and a comfortable lifestyle. However, the reality can be starkly different. The adjustment period can be challenging, and the anticipated opportunities may not materialize as quickly as hoped. Many people outside Canada watch videos and see so many things about Canada. They believe that everything is green in Canada. Once they arrive in Canada, they expect to start making money, sending money back home, building houses, buying land back home, and establishing themselves in Canada. But that is far from reality. This gap between expectation and reality can lead to disappointment and a reevaluation of the decision to stay in Canada. They find it difficult to cope with the situation and decide to return home. By the way, by no means, I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm just trying to tell you what is sustainable and attainable here in Canada, so I can help you in your decision-making process. When people set high expectations for themselves, such as achieving certain goals within the first 2 to 5 years in Canada, and when those expectations become unachievable, they tend to become anxious and weary. As a result, they look around and decide to go back home. Some even blame immigration consultants for not preparing them well for their relocation to Canada. Another very important reason why I feel many immigrants are returning home quickly is because of financial difficulty. Canada is known for its high standard of living, which unfortunately comes with high living costs. Financial difficulty is a common struggle for newcomers who find that their earnings do not stretch as far as they need. there's a challenging global phenomenon now. It's not just Canada alone, but in Canada, we feel it also because the cost of living is high. Expenses are high, and salaries are not increased. But when you want to go to the store to do grocery shopping, you spend a lot of money. When you do transportation, it's expensive. Accommodation is expensive. Everything is expensive. So when people, maybe because of the kind of lifestyle they're not used to, cannot cope with it, they decide to return to their home countries where the cost of living is lower and their income goes further. Another serious reason is job opportunities. To begin with, the primary reason for most people to relocate to Canada is for better job opportunities and the good life that comes with it. From the beginning, the recognition of foreign credentials and experience in Canada is a significant barrier for many skilled immigrants. Job opportunities that align with their qualifications and expertise can be hard to come by. The process of recertification can be long and arduous, leading some to accept positions that underutilize their skills. This underemployment can be a source of frustration and a factor in the decision to leave Canada. So when new immigrants do that for a few months and they cannot cope with it anymore, they'd rather just pack their bags and say, "Okay, I'll just go back home and continue to practice as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a bank manager, or whatever, than for me to continue to suffer in Canada." Some of them go to the extent of just leaving their kids and their partner behind and returning home because they cannot cope with the situation of things in Canada. So when people like that resign from their jobs in their home country and come to Canada, just because they believe when they get to Canada they will get a better job and they can continue as a doctor or a lawyer, as the case may be, when they come into Canada, they realize that Canada does not respect the credentials that they are bringing from outside Canada. Canada has its own standards that they want you to fit into and not the other way around. So as a medical doctor, you might end up going back to school again, writing some professional exams, and it might take you another 2 to 3 years, depending on how fast you can do that. It's not everyone that has the patience to go through that process. I know a few people who did that, but it's not everyone who is tolerant enough to go through that process again. You'll agree with me that the majority of these people last studied for exams about 15 to 20 years ago. For them to start all over again and start studying again for one exam or the other, just because they want to practice as a doctor or a lawyer here, some of them would rather just give it up and settle for jobs like driving Uber or doing menial jobs. Another very strong reason why new immigrants, particularly Africans, always return home when they cannot cope anymore in Canada is because of the harsh weather. In Canada, out of the 12 months that we have, I can tell you as a known fact that almost 7 or 8 months of it, if I'm not exaggerating, is cold. So if it's cold here and you're coming from Africa, India, or Pakistan where it's very hot, and you come to Canada and it's very, very cold, you cannot cope with it. The cold could go as low as minus 60 degrees Celsius in some provinces. The cold weather in Canada can be a formidable adversary, especially for those coming from warmer climates. The long, harsh winters can affect one's mood and overall well-being. For some new immigrants from warm climates, the cold is more than just discomfort, it's a challenge to their health and happiness, prompting them to seek the warmth of their home countries. So when you're in Canada, especially in your first year, and you're seeing all these things, it can be discouraging because you're not used to that. As a result, within the first few months of coming to Canada, they're already thinking of going back home. That's why some people, when they feel that they cannot cope with the cold, they cannot cope with the snow anymore, they'd rather just go back home and continue to live their life, instead of staying in Canada. Economic factors and global mobility. The world is now more connected than ever, and with that comes increased global mobility. Some permanent residents are finding opportunities elsewhere, leading them to reconsider the value of Canadian citizenship. They can go to Australia, Europe, or South America instead of coming to the cold pride of North America. Economic uncertainties and job markets fluctuating worldwide play a significant role in this decision-making process, and as a result, Canada has not been seen as the closest thing next to heaven. Things are changing, and I hope you see it as such. Cultural and family ties. For many new immigrants, the pull of cultural and familial ties is strong. The decision to return home often stems from a desire to reconnect with one's roots, culture, and community. The culture shock in a foreign country can be disorienting and confusing to say the least. In Canada, the difference is like day and night. This emotional stress can outweigh the benefits of Canadian citizenship, especially if family members are still residing in their country of origin and bringing them to Canada has not been successful. Last but not the least is the immigration and citizenship process itself. The process of becoming a permanent resident and subsequently Canadian citizen is not without its challenges. From lengthy application times to the costs involved, some permanent residents are deterred by the complexity and commitment required to take this final step. Looking ahead, as Canada continues to welcome immigrants from all corners of the globe, it's crucial to understand the changing dynamics of citizenship applications. By addressing the concerns and needs of permanent residents, Canada can ensure that the path to citizenship is an attractive and attainable goal for those who wish to call this country their forever home. In conclusion, while Canada offers many opportunities for new immigrants, it's not without its challenges. It's essential for potential immigrants to have a realistic understanding of what life in Canada entails. By setting achievable goals, preparing for the job market, and acclimatizing to the weather, the transition can be smoother. For those considering the move, remember that Canada can be a land of opportunity, but it requires resilience, adaptability, and patience. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights into the current state of life in Canada as a new immigrant. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with friends, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, take care. Thank you for watching Canada Immigration Matters.